welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern time. We're actually live, so wherever you're tuning in from, join us live right now at tsre.us/sale. That's tsre.us/sale. My name is John Christman. I'm a FREC certified instructor, a broker with multiple licenses. So if you do have any questions, anything about starting a real estate career, about the opportunities that are out there, head over to tsre.us/sale and drop those questions in the chat. But without further ado, what we're talking about today is the once-a-year Memorial Day sale. And this year, the offer is better than ever. So you can secure 20% off any new order with promo code MEMORIAL. So TampaSchoolOfRealEstate.com, any new order, 20% off with promo code MEMORIAL. Now, that does not apply to TSRE Plus, but if you're interested in TSRE Plus, this is your last chance to get grandfathered in to the introductory pricing for the TSRE Plus membership. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to call into us, text us 24/7, anytime, day or night, 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. So let's go ahead and head over to the board here and give a quick overview. If you're brand new to all of this, you don't yet have a real estate license, this is a great time to take advantage of this offer to get your real estate license. And I'm going to walk you through the most popular options to get a real estate license. So if you head over to tsre.us/sale, you can join that official live broadcast. You can see right above there, we have right now, as we're live, about 3 days and 11 hours left to get this once-a-year deal on whatever that you need to advance your real estate career. So if you are just getting started, if you're just starting out, let's see, let me keep this right there because we want to remember promo code MEMORIAL. But if you're just starting out, you need a 63-hour course. The 63-hour textbook is this one right here, not this one peeking out from behind, but this one. And it is a 500-page book. This will cover all of that information, and we also have this available where you can complete this in a live format with either a in-person live class, such as in New Tampa, Palm Harbor. We also have a location in Lakeland and South Tampa. You can find all the classes online, but we can also bring an instructor to you wherever you are, anywhere in the world, with our live online programs. So the live online classes are literally identical to our classroom programs, except for the classroom, the students are all over the world. Anywhere that you have an internet connection, you can join that live online program. Now, many of our students do prefer a set schedule as well as the opportunity to network in a live class. So whether that's the live online where you're messaging the other students or in person where you're just talking good old-fashioned face-to-face. But a lot of times you can't make that schedule work, or because of work, because of whatever it is that's going on, maybe it's just more convenient to do this at your own pace. And that's why this is actually our most popular program right here, the video on demand version of that live class. And it follows along in the same textbook that the in-person and live online class uses, this 500-page textbook right here. Now, this is a lot of information, but our live classes, we do have programs as quick as 7 days, 1 week straight. They're full days, they're long days, but you can get through this, all this information in a week. And that does include taking your end of course exam as well. Now, with this offer here for $267, that does include 1-year access, but that does not yet include that memorial discount. So when you add this to your cart, add in this promo code at checkout, MEMORIAL, and that will discount this tuition by an extra 20%. And that's the same thing for our classroom programs as well as any of the online on-demand programs. Now, if you've already checked this box here, whether that's on-demand or live, even if you took that with another school, that's okay. You may need some extra help simplifying, and that's where this little book comes into play here, this one that was peeking out behind this one earlier. And when I hold these two side by side, you could really start to see the difference between these. That this is a 500-page book right here, and this is a about a 100-page book right here. And so that's 20% of the length in this exam cram workbook here. And that exam cram workbook takes really just the key points that you need to know out of each unit. And it's great because this is really a workbook where you're going along and you're highlighting, you're filling in blanks, you're answering questions to be able to better understand the most important topics in sense of the exam. Not necessarily trying to know it as detailed as possible. That's where this book would be better for knowing every last detail. But the exam is going to test you on every last detail. And that's why this exam prep, even if you take a class with Tampa School of Real Estate, our students love the exam prep. And the thing is, no matter your experience of getting this 63 credit hour curriculum, whether it's the best experience ever or the worst experience ever, we have a lot of students that come from whatever program it is, course, if they could even call it that they scrapped together some stuff online that you could read through. If you're able to make it through that, that's great. That gives you the certificate that's good for 2 years. And the thing is, even in the best program, we are required to teach you the details of this 500-page course here. Not every last detail do we have to go in completely elaborating, and that's how we can complete this still. It's only a 60-hour of actual hours, actually even less than 60 hours because FREC only counts 50 minutes as an hour. So you could get through this information relatively quickly, and this is a great reference tool for later on when you want to refer to the laws and rules that this so heavily focuses on here. But when it comes to studying for your exam, now you're looking at just really the highlights, just really the key points that you need to know. And that's what all the exam prep tools do in the Pass First Try Exam Prep bundle, is it simplifies down what you need to know. And if you do need the further details, that's where bringing this one back into the picture. Sure, if you need a reference back into those finer details, that's where this will help you understand big picture more of what these means. But in reference to the exam is what you need to know for the exam, this workbook here that's included. So we ship this out to you included for free. $197 gives you 12 months access. But again, don't forget promo code MEMORIAL to get 20% off of that at checkout. Now, if you've already got your real estate license, you've got no use for this right here. What you need is post-licensing. And this course right here, you can do as soon as you get your real estate license. And that's when I would recommend that you start this, either the video on demand or a live instructor-led program for post-licensing. And the reason is the post-licensing curriculum is much more focused on business-oriented topics as opposed to the laws and rules that are the focus of really both of these tools right here. Because the focus of the exam is primarily laws and rules. That's mostly what the exam questions focus on, is laws and rules and some basic principle and practices. Whereas this is going to be much more heavy on the business side. From business planning to, for example, presenting an offer versus the essential elements of a contract. So laws and rules are going to teach you about the essential elements of the contract in this 63-hour pre-licensing course. The post-licensing, now you're learning how do you actually communicate this with people? How do you price a property to sell versus the basic principles of appraisal? So as a broker, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a broker with multiple licenses. When I've spoken to new agents that have done a post-licensing course already, they're light years ahead of somebody who just has the bare minimum of a real estate license, which all the knowledge you'll have typically at that point is just the laws and rules, as well as whatever your own knowledge you're bringing to the table. But the thing is, if you haven't worked in real estate previously, there's so many things in here that are specific to real estate. Even if you've ran businesses, even if you've been a salesperson, even if you've worked in marketing, even if you've done customer service, even if you've studied psychology, even if you've done business planning before, you're going to see this all in a very real estate sales associate specific lens, focused all around how do you build a strong foundation for your real estate career. And so these three courses all together are what we refer to as the Complete Jumpstart. And the Complete Jumpstart is a bundle of what the FREC requires to get your real estate license, which are the green courses, the exam prep tools to help expedite that process to getting your license, which is you get all the exam prep tools with the Pass First Try bundle, so all those yellow courses. And then the red courses are your post-licensing. And so you could do these all in a live format as well. So for example, we've got a class coming up here in New Tampa, Jim Warmington, June 2nd here. And full tuition for this course is $497. That would cover your textbook. That would include all your digital materials. We have an app so you can access those digital materials from anywhere. But as I talked about earlier, I would recommend those exam prep tools. They're not required. They are optional, and so we make them optional. We don't work them into the price on our base level. So if you want the extra exam prep tools, you could add those for only $150, so $647. And again, this is before you add on that 20% Memorial Day discount. And then, as I recommended earlier, the complete Jumpstart bundle, where you're getting this pre-licensing course. And if you love Jim, you'll want to come back for his post-licensing course. That's already prepaid and covered. And essentially with this, you're really getting all the exam prep tools for free. So it takes two requirements, the requirement to get your real estate license and the requirement to keep your real estate license. And you prepay basically for those two requirements and you get the exam prep tools for free. And that's our way of thanking you for committing to that in advance, because we know you're going to become more of a success story when you do post-licensing right away. And that's what we're ultimately here for at the Tampa School of Real Estate, to create as many success stories as possible, to create as many stars as we can. We love the stars here at the Tampa School of Real Estate. We want you to become a star, a shooting star. Maybe you're just trying to do real estate part-time, maybe just referrals, maybe you want to do it full-time, maybe you want to build a team, maybe you want to start a brokerage. If you're already eligible to get a broker license, so you've already had a sales associate license for 2 years. So we'll let this load here. Meaning you've done these green courses to get your real estate license. Maybe you use the exam prep, maybe not. Again, this is optional. You can pass the exam without it, but this is going to simplify it and make it so much easier. It's going to take the guesswork out of studying, which time is very valuable. The post-licensing course to renew your license, and it's not just a renewal course, it is a course that will, again, teach you the fundamentals of practicing real estate. And so, we have these live in person. It looks like we've already got one sold out on here too. And then once you've been licensed for at least 2 years, and you do have to do the post-licensing if you have a sales associate license, you could then get your broker license. And this would allow you to open your own brokerage office, which a lot of real estate agents are content not opening their own office, not being a broker. There are actually few agents that go on to go through this same process all over again, because that's really what you're doing with the broker course. You're doing another application, another round of fingerprints, you're taking another FREC required course, this time it's 72 hours, you're passing another FREC required state exam, and then you also have your own broker post-licensing. So a lot of people look at that and say, wow, that's a lot of extra stuff, and I'm not even sure if I want to open my own brokerage office. Most people that get their broker license don't open their own office. They actually remain with their current broker as a broker associate. At least at first. Down the road, that's where you see a lot more people opening their own brokerage. But usually, it's not get a broker license, immediately open a brokerage. You can do that. If you've been putting this off, that might be what you end up doing when the final straw breaks the camel's back at your brokerage, that you're just unhappy with having commission splits or having to pay whatever fees, or just not being in charge, not being able to make your own decisions, not having the branding freedom to use terms like real estate. That's why you'll notice most real estate teams don't actually use real estate or brokerage or any of those terms like that in their team name. They're just the so-and-so team, the this team, the that team, because they can't use words like realty in their name because they're not a brokerage. So if you want to overcome those limitations, if you want to build something truly bigger than yourself, That's where the broker license really unlocks those potentials. But as I mentioned earlier, most people aren't doing this to immediately get a broker license. They're doing this to remain at their current brokerage, but as a broker associate, which comes with its own set of benefits, including having a higher standing among other professionals. So this is a very cooperative industry where you're very often working with other agents that are representing their clients. And it gives you a lot of extra clout when you have the title of broker associate as opposed to sales associate, because that shows that you've been able to take the slightly longer class and slightly more difficult exam, but keyword slightly. And that's why I'd recommend doing this sooner rather than later, because so much of this is literally remedial from your 63-hour course. There's not a bunch of new laws and rules that are suddenly applicable as a broker. There's a few finer details, but the core of the actual broker exam is very similar to the sales associate exam. It's a slightly more difficult exam. The math is slightly more in-depth and intense, but it's actually usually the same math problems at its base. So this really is the sales associate course 102. If there's a 101 and this is now the 102 or the 201, or we don't use numbers like that because they're kind of arbitrary here, but you get the idea. This is really just a more advanced version of the sales associate course. So all the more reason to do this sooner rather than later, because the sooner you do that, the more fresh this information is going to be. Because there's a lot of information in here that you're not going to use in your daily real estate business. Some things that do come up on a very regular basis, but other things that you don't ever really even touch. And so it's very easy to forget those finer details that you don't use on a regular basis, even if you're practicing real estate. So the sooner you get your broker license, the sooner you knock that out and it's out of the way. And whether you're a broker or a sales associate, the continuing education, the 14-hour CE course is exactly the same. There is not different continuing education for sales associates and brokers. Let's actually take a look at the continuing education courses while we're talking about that here. We have an extensive continuing education catalog, and this 20% off Memorial code will actually work for all of these courses. Let's see, what do we have here? These are all of our post-licensing classes, and that is, again, required for your first renewal here. Let's see, I think we've got a link to it here. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and search for it. This should take us here. This is a great resource right here that you can get to this through tsre.us/verify. And this will tell you whether you've got to do 45 hour, 60 hour, 14 hour. To make it real simple, if you're a sales associate and you just got your real estate license, it's the 45-hour course that you're required to do. If you are a broker and you just got your broker license, it's a 60-hour course, typically 2 30-hour courses that you're doing. And if this is not your first renewal, whether you're a broker or a sales associate, you're doing these 14-hour continuing education courses. Now, our quickest, simplest option for this is this correspondence book right here. We also have all kinds of great electives if you really want to piece together your own custom learning experience, learning about all different topics. So you could browse through all of that. Again, all of these, promo code Memorial, you could use. But going back to just getting started, if you're just now learning about a real estate license, you're considering getting licensed, Just like somebody who's considering getting a broker license, get the license now. Start taking action now. You don't have to activate it right away. You don't have to start practicing real estate right away. You don't have to join the realtors or the MLS ever, if even right away. So all that stuff can be put on hold, but you want to start on the journey somewhere. And starting in a way that's going to really help point you in the direction of a profession that can earn you substantial income, as well as unlock doors for all kinds of different opportunities, whether that's investing in real estate, just practicing real estate as a single person, or building a real estate team, starting your own brokerage, building something that truly can be so much bigger than yourself, and really embracing the freedom that we have to do something like that here in the good old United States of America, and taking a moment to think about everybody who has given their lives, or even part of their lives, to sacrifice to preserve that freedom that we have. So make those sacrifices worth it. If this is something you've been dreaming about doing, there's people in this world who cannot do this, who would not qualify for a real estate license. You got to be 18, you got to have a high school diploma, and you got to have a U.S. Social Security number. You don't have a U.S. Social Security number, you can't sell real estate in one of the most coveted places in the entire world, which is the state of Florida. And it's not just people from the United States that want to live in Florida. It's people worldwide that want to own a piece of Florida. And while it may be simpler and easier for someone who is a citizen of the United States to be able to purchase real estate here, it is a very international market that we live in here in Florida. And there are ways and possibilities, sometimes at a slightly higher cost, for those who are not citizens of the United States to be able to buy their piece of Florida for investment purposes, for their own purposes, for vacation, for whatever it may be. And so if you want to be able to broker these deals, to be able to bring together the buyers and sellers, you do need a real estate license, an active real estate license. And the first step for that is enrolling in a pre-licensing course, either an in-person class like we just discussed, or the video on-demand program. This 24/7 allows you to complete all of those steps I have mentioned already, from starting with your pre-licensing course. This is the requirement. This satisfies the FREC requirement to get your real estate license. It includes the textbook. But as we've mentioned, that course and that textbook are going to be very detailed. So simplifying down to just what you need to know is where the exam prep tools come into play. And if you're really committed to actually being successful in real estate, to whatever degree of success you're after, whether you do just want to earn referrals on the side, or you want to become the next top mega real estate team that turns into a brokerage down the road, either road you're trying to take, number one, you do have to do your continuing education, post-licensing requirements. Time doesn't change on those, whether you have a license active or not. And again, the reason why you do not want to delay on this is because this is the information that's going to get you coming up with ideas that you can implement to build the best version of your real estate business, however big or small that may be. From the business planning, to presenting offers, to pricing property to sell, to prospecting for new business, to planning out your day, time management. There's so many topics that are in here. Working with for sale by owners, not necessarily as in-depth as the FSBO Fundamentals course and Real Estate Pro University that you get with a TSRE Pro membership, but it's going to help you form the foundation. And so then when you do go to join a brokerage, when you go to interview a broker, because it's you interviewing the broker, not necessarily vice versa, because you'll have the pick of many brokers. We've actually got an event coming up here on June 7th. I would highly recommend you register for at FloridaRealEstateCareerFair.com. Again, that's FloridaRealEstateCareerFair.com. We've got a banner right on our homepage for it. Just put in your name, email, and phone number to claim your free admission to this event on June 7th. It's just about 3 weeks away. It's coming up on Saturday, June 7th in Lakeland. You absolutely want to come to this event, whether you're in Tampa, Orlando, anywhere close by to this. not just to meet the different vendors that'll be in attendance there to present their opportunities, but to be able to network with the other attendees, to build your base, to build your sphere of influence. So at the Tampa School of Real Estate, we're the ones who are ultimately presenting this event here. We're not just here to offer you a course to get your real estate license. We're here to help you achieve your dream real estate career. And that begins with the course to get your real estate license. The FREC required 63-hour pre-licensing. Again, that exam prep is going to help you expedite the process. It's really what we're known best for here. A lot of students come from other schools and use our exam prep to be able to pass the exam on their next try. And if you haven't passed on your first try, if it's taking you longer, remember, that's all confidential. No one's going to know how many times you took the exam. So utilize these tools. Don't get discouraged. Be perseverant, because the perseverance is really the ultimate quality in a real estate professional, not just for their own career, but for their clients as well. And you're going to learn much more about what makes the ultimate real estate professional in post-licensing, because again, rather than focusing on the laws and rules in your pre-licensing, you're going to learn much more in-depth topics as it relates to running a real estate business. So you have a foundation to where any training your brokerage offers that you get from the Association of Realtors, any trainings you do in the TSRE Pro University, you're all going to be able to understand that better because you have a strong foundation built with that 45-hour post-licensing. So take advantage of this Memorial Day offer that's going on right now. It's 20% off any new orders, promo code MEMORIAL. And as a matter of fact, you could even use this on the campus store. So you want to get a Tampa School of Real Estate hoodie or a coffee mug or anything like that, a calculator, all that stuff. You could also use the 20% off code on. But I promise you, these courses are going to give you much more of an impact than that calculator would. Don't get me wrong, that calculator is cool. I have these things everywhere. I love these things. These are great little calculators. 20% off, I think it gives you like $2 off, so it was cool, I guess. But it's an amazing calculator. Would definitely recommend that. But that calculator, it would be nothing if I didn't know the math to do with it. And the math that you're doing with it, you know, one of the math that you'll use almost every day in your real estate career that you might already know how to do is commission, calculating commission. So you learn about that in here. It's not a complicated calculation, and the calculator definitely makes it even less complicated. So there's very simple calculations like that you'll do in this course. All you need is a basic 4-function calculator like this right here, and you're able to do all of that math that is in this course. So don't let the math freak you out. It is only 10 questions on your state exam for math. And also for post-licensing, remember there's no state exam. It's just a course that you got to complete, so no reason you shouldn't knock that out right away. Get that state exam done and then move right into post-licensing immediately, so that way you could really have a strong understanding, not just of the legal side, but also the business side. And you can, again, begin creating your business plan and make the best choice for your future. So take advantage of this offer, 20% off. It ends on Memorial Day. It ends Monday, so promo code MEMORIAL. Put that in at checkout. Take advantage of this offer. If you do have any questions, call into us anytime, 24/7. Call or text 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. That is about all the time that we've got for today, so I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will be back on Wednesday for next week's Ask the Instructor, so make sure you tune in then. Until then, have a happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all who have served and all who have someone close to them who may have given the ultimate sacrifice to help protect our freedoms that we enjoy here in the United States of America, to be able to build careers and businesses of our dreams. That's all possible because of those who have been there before us fighting for that freedom. So a big thank you to everyone in the armed forces and everyone who has someone in the armed forces. Thank you for your service. Thank you to everyone for being great Americans, and I'll see you Wednesday for Ask the Instructor.